Hello out there, I'm Marcel and I'm back with The Pulse. Today, I'm going to talk about a serious topic, which is a danger of NMN. Even if you buy the purest form of NMN, the best quality NMN, you spend good money on it. If you don't take proper care of it, which I'm going to get into in just a couple minutes, you can be in trouble. You can have some issues. And I saw it firsthand, so I decided it was a good time after monitoring the situation closely over time to tell you. Now, there are different ways to buy NMN. There are different price points of NMN. It's important to understand what you're getting for your money, how to take the NMN, when to take the NMN. And there are a lot of videos I've posted about these types of topics, but I'll give you a rough overview of what I do. And, I'm going in my third year. I'm now 2.5 years into NMN. So I'm in my third year of taking NMN. And I have collected a lot of information, posted over 100 videos about the topic. So I'll share what I've learned with you. Now, you can buy powder or capsules. Why do I take powder? I take the powder form of NMN. I get it from Do Not Age. I take it because I take it sublingually. And I believe it gets into the bloodstream not only through the digestive tract, but the mucous membrane. And I've talked to scientists about this. Dr. Shi, for example, concurs that probably is a good idea. However, he said you can also take the powder, mix it in water, if you're more comfortable, if you don't like the taste and the texture of the powder under your tongue, you could swish it around your mouth. It'll probably get into the mucous membrane that way as well. So leave it in your mouth for a bit and then swallow it. That's another tactic you can take. Now, some people just can't take the powder for maybe they have gag reflexes or other digestive reasons, so they take capsules. And I know a lot of people taking capsules, and they're getting results. However, I wonder, like some of the bleeding gums, like some of the results I got with NMN, one of them was no more bleeding gums. And other people reported that as well. I'm wondering how many of you who no longer have bleeding gums, are you taking the capsules of the powder? There's an interesting question right there for people to answer. Now, benefits of NMN include, and I've covered these before, but if you happen to be new to the channel, you feel younger, you have better energy and focus, your hair and skin improves, eyesight can improve, you're sick less often. These are common things that people report that take NMN. You recover from sports much better, and you lose weight. Some people pretty quickly after they start taking NMN. Now, some of the results can take longer, which I personally believe is another argument to take the powder form of NMN, because if you want it to get in the bloodstream quicker, then it's going to get in there much faster taking it orally. A quick note about the different types of NMN. Basically, someone asked me recently, what's the difference between beta NMN and regular NMN? And right now, the form of NMN that is widely sold is beta NMN, or crystallized or stabilized form of NMN. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If you're taking this stabilized form of NMN, as I am, as a powder form, I take Do Not Age. You could use my code ThePulse. You could take it from them too. You don't have to worry about not getting a pure NMN. However, even this NMN, if it's not taken care of well, it can go bad. It can turn brown. And that's what I had happen last summer. It's not a knock on Do Not Age. I've seen it happen with other NMNs as well. And you just need to be careful about it. I think that's why they say and have said, maybe you should go ahead and refrigerate it. The problem with refrigeration is, first of all, it shouldn't be necessary. And you're taking it out of the refrigerator constantly, exposing it to hot, cold, hot, cold. You can expose it to moisture. NMN is light sensitive. NMN is water sensitive. So you want to keep it away from those things, and heat sensitive. So you want to keep it in a cool, dry place. What I recommend you do, and what I am now doing, because last summer when I took that NMN all summer and I kept opening and closing, I got to the end, and it was a brownish color. And so what I decided I should start doing is putting it in just a regular small container, taking it out of that every day. And other people have reported doing this as well, maybe instinctively or maybe from experience, they came to the same conclusion. This way, you're only opening the NMN, this one maybe for 2-3 weeks, and then you reload it. Instead of having something that's around for 2-3 months, and then having that big container, I think this lasts me at least 3 months. Well, that's a lot of exposure if I'm opening that up every day and closing it, opening, closing it. So this way, every 2-3 weeks, maybe you reload and you're not opening this one as often. And you can keep it refrigerated during that time or not, as long as maybe in the summer, you might want to go for the refrigerator. I live in Germany. We don't have air conditioning here. So I find it better maybe in the summer to go ahead and put that in the fridge, leave it there for something like 3 weeks time, and then just keep reloading my daily container. So hopefully that helps some people out there with dealing with NMN on a daily basis and not exposing your big container to the elements and really having it maybe go bad. Now, what happens if it goes bad? When I would take NMN from a big container and I'd get to the bottom, I have started to notice that it's less effective. It's not like I get no impact, but I find myself, and I have found myself now for about 1.5 years, it took me some time to kind of get a feel for it, looking forward to a new container, fresh container. That way, if you're putting it in a small container, when it's fresh, you're more likely to constantly get that new container boost. And yeah, there was a difference. There was an absolute difference in the way that I feel. It's hard to kind of quantify that, but I would say I felt toward the end of a container, maybe I was getting about 50% of the benefit. Now, I'm sure that some companies may not, maybe not even Do Not Age, may not agree with me, but that's the way I felt. And I've always talked honestly about the way I feel taking NMN. So I think it's just better to hedge your bet, take it in a small container daily, and then access that. Just shovel it in, scoop it out, put it in the small container, and use that more often. Now, how do you know if you're taking a good NMN? How do you know if you're even protecting it? There are a lot of NMNs out there, and some of them are sold at very low prices. I'm telling you, that's your first warning signal, and some people just can't help themselves. They insist they're getting good NMN, but how do you really know? So there's a couple ways you could go about confirming that you're even taking pure NMN. The first is to ask for their third-party certificate, and it will list the lab unless they've smeared it out. You want to see the lab where they had it tested. You can call that lab and literally ask them, hey, this company, did they really work with you? Is the NMN really what the certificate says? You'd be surprised sometimes the answers you get. I got an answer one time from a lab because I was calling the lab here in Germany, right here in the town I live in, because someone had posted a certificate saying another NMN that I had taken for 7 months was not real NMN. I called the lab up. Fortunately, I speak German. They spoke some English as well. But I asked them, is this true? And they confirmed for me. So now I take the NMN. I've been doing this once a year just to keep everybody honest. I'll take an NMN sample to that lab of the one that I'm taking, and it's always come back 99% pure. So you could take that extra step if you don't trust the company for some reason, or you think maybe they just took a little bit of their batch to the lab and had that tested, and the rest of it may have fillers or maybe fluffed up. Another thing that's important, that you know that you're getting NMN filled, a proper fill. You'd be amazed that people can fluff up this powder and maybe only get 70% fill. That means they're getting 30% more profits. So it's incredible that these kinds of things happen, but I've been seeing and hearing these things happening with different companies. I think the biggest thing about finding someone you trust is that you know you're not going to have to deal with shenanigans. A good signal is, does the CEO or president of a company talk intelligently and firsthand about NMN? Do their friends and relatives take NMN as well? I think these are all helpful signals that you can use to make sure you're taking a good NMN. But imagine, taking it only in one form. Another argument for not having it be an exclusive prescription drug is most likely then we're going to get it in capsules that are counted out with certain dosages. With a powder, if you need a little bit more or a little bit less to feel good, to feel comfortable with it, you can easily regulate the amount you're taking with a powder as opposed to a capsule form. Now, some of you may say, I could just take the capsule and open it up and take that as a powder. It stays fresh, it's inside the capsule. Well, not so fast. That's not so simple either, because typically The powder form that's inside the capsule is not as finely ground. It's a more granulated or a thicker granulated type of powder that is suited more for capsulizing. So you're not dealing with this fluffy powder and trying to shove it into a capsule. So it just works better to create a capsule. And so I did do this before, and I bought some capsules or got some capsules early on, and I started putting them under the tongue, and I'm walking around, I'm like 5 minutes, and it's not dissolved yet. So I called the company. I said, what's going on with this? They said, oh, yeah, you should only buy it in powder form, actual powder form, if you're going to take it as a powder. Because if you try to take the capsulized form as a powder, even though it is a powder inside, it's not ground as much as this one, which is meant to be taken under the tongue and sort of dissolve quickly. I don't mind the taste. Doesn't bother me at all, but I don't want to walk around for 5 minutes with this stuff under my mouth. I might have to take a phone call or go do something else. And it's just not as comfortable to take it that way. So if you're going to take a capsule, if you're going to buy the capsules, take it as a capsule. I do recommend the powder, but again, there are some steps you need to take with the powder to take care of it, to make sure that it stays fresh, to make sure, most importantly, that it's effective. And the newer NMNs are stable, but they do have a shelf life. They can eventually start to go bad and start to degrade. The good news is it will discolor. So you will have a visual indicator to know, besides just, how long have you had it, you will have a visual indicator to know, this NMN's not looking so good. Maybe I need to discard it and get a new one. If you've stopped taking NMN and then you start again and you've had it sitting there for a while, again, you may want to take a close look at it and rethink, well, do I maybe just want to start with a fresh batch since I'm starting again? For those of you that don't get results right away from NMN, I'm going to get more into this in more detail, but I have a relative who's been taking NMN for 18 months. And they just recently started to feel the energy boost from the NMN. So it can take quite a while. Some of us, like myself, it took me about a week or two, and I started to feel a lot of energy. Some people need 2 months. Some people might need 1 to 2 years. Everybody's different. Everybody needs a different period of time to feel that. And I could just tell you this person is 84 years old, and it took them quite a while. And I'm going to get more into the story and the details and how that happened in an upcoming video. Thanks for watching. I hope some of this helped you guys kind of navigate the whole NMN taking world, and I wish you the best with it. See you soon.